Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that help you create beautiful projects from start to finish with easy to follow guides. So I am here today with Festive Friday number 3. I'm going to make a scrapbooking page. If you're interested, there is a downloadable PDF that has some pictures of my finished layout, the supply list. There is a link to a design space file for the background pieces, not anything that's cut out by thin cuts, obviously. And then there is also a QR code here that will take you to my YouTube channel. So if you're watching it on replay, lots of times that's the easiest. Hello, Jolette. That's the easiest way to find like a video that appeared on my Facebook page, because lots of times there's lots of other things that happen and it gets pushed way down. So if you want the PDF, if you comment Mary, I'll come back after and I'll add the link in to so you can grab that file. Or you can click on, I do believe the link is in the description above. Something weird happened when I started and the video didn't go anywhere for a while. So I restarted it and hopefully we're all good right now. But I'm going to put you down on my desk and we'll get started. So, okay. This is and I made sure to grab, good morning, Gay. I made sure to grab water today before we started so that I didn't leave it in the other room. I have it here because, of course, when I get yammering, sometimes it's a little dry here now that we've got winter going on. So, like I said, if you want the link to the PDF, just comment Mary and I'll come back at the end and add it in here. Okay, so this is what we're going to create today. It is a super cute layout and is a combination of Cricut cuts and thin cuts. And like I said, so the projects for Festive Fridays, I wanted them obviously all to be kind of like Christmassy, holiday themed. And as everything changed up with the Christmas products, I decided that for all of the projects, I'm going to go with like not the traditional Christmas collections. So for today's layout, I actually used the Seasons winter paper, and that's where I started, and this is where we're going to go. There's some old things and there's some new things on here. So we're going to create the little pockets, and these are actually photographs of my puppy, her first Christmas. This is her obviously looking for Santa, you can tell. And then she had funny Christmas pajamas, obviously, that she's sitting at the window with. So this is just her sitting at the back door. And then I love this picture of her underneath the Christmas tree. She had just been groomed, so I think she's like uber fluffy. But we were actually super lucky. She never went after the tree. She never went after presents, nothing. We had a lab that would quite typically unwrap the presents from under the tree. But she's pretty good. So, and you'll all be happy to know at least I've gotten as far as I have a Christmas tree in the house and it has some lights on it. So I'm calling that a win for right now. Okay, so like I said, there's full supply list, a design space file for cutting out the background pieces, and then it tells you the thin cuts and all the products that I'm going to use today. So here we go. I have everything, I think, ready to go. So I decided to mix some old and some new, as you will see. So like I said, I wanted to mix and match some things and kind of maybe use some things that you might not have thought of for Christmas. Sorry, I was just looking at my pieces and I realized I forgot to emboss something, but that's okay. It'll be fine. I'll just show you in my original. So I have just a white daisy background. So Cricut will cut out your banner piece that we're going to add our title to. And I did 2 layers here. So that's a Cricut cut. I have some tags here that are a Cricut cut. I have this scallop piece. There's photo mats, and there are your pockets for sliding your photographs in and out of. And then this is the thin cut, and it just says Christmas on it. And then I have some pieces of the Four Seasons winter paper. So we're going to start, and we're going to actually put together the background pieces, and then we'll embellish it, put our pockets on, all that fun stuff. So you'll see here for this title here, I did emboss it with the Cascading Dots embossing folder. We'll just see how much time we have when we get to that point. And if so, I'll pull out my die cutting machine and emboss it. Okay, so for cardstock colors, I used sage, pine, scarlet, black and white. And so the measurements, like I said, this will be cut out with Cricut. But if you're not going to use Cricut, I can actually, so I think this is 6 by 11. And then this piece is 1 3/4 by 11. And then you could substitute out, obviously, the scallop piece for just a piece of decorative paper. So, the black is my second set of mats here. So, here we go. We are going to start with the background piece of paper. And I really liked the plaid from the winter because I thought it kind of felt very Christmassy. So I'm actually just going to put a little bit of adhesive. You can see actually probably on my Versamat, I have always adhesive just sticking in the middle there. So I'm just going to tap this down to the middle just because I like things straight. Sorry, one sec. The camera does not like all the white. So let's get something down on the paper so that it's not white anymore. Okay, so this piece of paper, like I said, it's 6 by 11, but if you use the Cricut file, it'll cut it out for you. So I started and I put this at the 3-inch mark. So I'm just going to flip my T-ruler over so it's actually sitting on the lip of my Versamat. And I'm just lining it up from top to bottom at 3 inches. And then, because it's 11, right, I'm just going to do it 1/2 inch from the top and 1/2 inch from the bottom. And then this is a border sticker from that same paper pack. So I'm just going to run it right along my decorative piece of paper here. I just wanted something a little fun. So there's actually tons of stickers on here that would work really well for a Christmas layout. So I think after this, I'm going to have to go and literally wrap some presents so that we have something to put under my undecorated tree so far. Okay. There we go. Okay. So then from there, I have, this is another piece. So it looked like birch on the back. And then it's got the pretty blue on here. So it's funny, the coordinating color says Capri, and I don't know, I do not feel like this is Capri. So, but that's okay. Okay, so then my border I did in scarlet to pull in kind of that Christmassy feeling, right? And it will cut right at the 11-inch mark. So then I thought I would add the pine shimmer trim to give it some glitter. So I'm going to run the shimmer trim along, let me just see, the seam. So between these two, I just need to straighten out this end of the shimmer trim. So I'm just going to add it between the two pieces, like over the line that runs between it, because I want you to be able to see it. Okay, so there we go. And as always, I'm leaving a little bit extra of that tail here on my shimmer trim so that I'll be able to find the end next time I go to use it. But that's all the shimmer trim we are going to use on here. So now you can see where we're going. Okay, so we've got the whole background in. So now I'm going to make my pockets and assemble my ornaments. And so this is an old thin cut. It's still available. I will tell you, it is one of my favorites. I've done tons of layouts with it. I've used it on card fronts, and it's the custom ornament. It's neat how it actually works, right? So all these pieces you can fit into the middle, and then you cut it out all together. So lots of you probably have this in your stash, and that is one of the reasons I wanted to use it. So when you put, this is upside down right at the moment, like you would obviously put your cutting side down, but I wanted to show you how everything, you can fit it inside the outside piece. And then it will cut your full piece of cardstock like that. So I made an ornament out of scarlet. I have one out of pine. And then I did a sage ornament. So you just flip the pieces back in like this, right? And then you can crank it through your machine and you get this. So, and then I cut out the toppers. I'm sure you guys have seen me use this before because like I said, good morning, Pauline. It is one of my favorite thin cuts. I kind of wish we would do more like this. I think it's a super neat concept. So you guys all email Close to My Heart and tell them that we need something like this again. But I'll show you the other thin cut I used. So I did use this year's snowflakes also, and I cut them out of glitter paper. So I have scarlet and white glitter paper, and I'm going to kind of layer those up. I thought I would just go through like some of the supplies as we go. But I also have older snowflakes. I'm sure you have snowflakes in your stash too that you could use. So I used those and I cut them out various shapes and sizes right here from the scarlet glitter paper, which is gorgeous, and the white. Okay, and then I did do mink backgrounds for all my ornaments. So let's just adhere our ornaments together. We'll put some of the pieces together so you can see. So you can also, if you want, add 3D foam between the layers, but I'm going to just add these directly onto their mink bases. And then if I want to pop them up, I can pop them up also from underneath with foam tape. So this one I think I have on thin 3D foam tape. This one is flat, and this one's probably on thin also. So you guys heard me talking about, I always have adhesive sheets lying around. I'm trying to keep them with my die cutting machine and with my Cricut. So I use them more, and I'll just fill like a piece, right? And then I'll have obviously extras. So when it comes to like small things like this, then I find it super handy to be able to just cut them out of the extra pieces. I'll show you here, I think. So see, I had used this to cut out the Christmas because I told you guys when we used it last week I was going to use it again. So I had obviously extra room and adhesive sheet already on the back. So I just keep this in like with my black pieces of paper so that when I had something small to put together, I could just use the scraps or fit them in there. Okay, here's the sage one. And sometimes it's just about like picking a different color combination or different supplies for things to look different. So, sorry, that was just slightly off center and it was going to make me crazy. So I will come back to everybody that commented Mary after, and I'll drop the link in there. So here's the topper for the second one. Hey, Linda. So like I said, I will add thin 3D foam onto those. Okay, and then, so here's our last ornament. And I picked this because I thought I'm gonna add a big wow factor on here. So I thought that the ornaments kind of just did that. And they kind of make her look so tiny, right? As she's sitting there on the cushion. Well, on the carpet, I guess she is. Under the big tree. She still looks tiny under the tree, but she's not that small anymore. Okay, so I have the third topper. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put together a few of the pockets because I'm going to show you. We want to put them together probably not the way you would. I know, the winter paper is so pretty. And especially this plaid piece, that is for sure, I think, my favorite from the pack. Out of the Four Seasons paper, even though I do not like winter, I actually just said that to my husband last night, which is funny because where we live, it feels like it's winter all year long. It's not really, but it feels like that sometimes to me. I said to him, I really don't enjoy winter. So it's going down here. This one's going both there, and this one's going up. But I'm going to actually draw my strings on here. You guys all know I love embellishing thread, and you could totally do it with embellishing thread if you have that in your stash. Just take some silver or gold embellishing thread, whichever way you want it to go, and just tie it literally to the top of the ornament and string it over the back of your layout, and you can just tape it on the back there. But I'm going to do it with my pen. But I need to kind of know, right, where I'm going to put these ornaments in order to draw my lines. So we're going to put together the 3 pockets so we can see how they're going to fit on the page. So I have these 3 tags that are going to go inside. You could also add extra photos on here if you don't want to journal, or use them for the hidden journaling. It's totally up to you. There's our title. And I did do double mats on here, but you wouldn't have to. If you don't want that second black mat, just hide it in the design space file. But I really liked, because it was so many crazy colors already, I thought that I just would add some more mats. It's because it's all just cardstock, right? So, okay. So my score lines are on here already. So I'm going to fold my pockets on my score lines. And you're going to see in a second, I'm actually going to add the adhesive here, but I'm going to attach them to the back so that when the tags go in and out, they don't get caught on the inside because the seam is on the outside of the page. I just need photo mats. Because I will use different photos on this one. I will reuse this page because these photos, I should actually get her to pose for the same photos. Or try, she can't wear those pajamas anymore though. And see if I can reenact it for you guys. So, there we go. So I'm just folding both ways on my score lines. You could obviously also, if you don't want the pocket on there, just leave them off and just add the photos and the photo mats in the same spots. Okay, so now that I've folded all of these, I just want to make sure I assemble them because the cardstock's two-tone. I want to make sure, right, that they all look the same. So I'm going to put them on their true side. So they're all going to go like this. So let's add some adhesive, and then we got to retrain the paper just a little bit because it wants to go on the inside like this, right? But what happens is sometimes if you have an element that's pulling in and out and you have two seams there, your element that's pulling in and out can get caught. So we are going to attach them to the back side. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to all of the flaps, and then we're going to fold them with my bone folder, and then I will adhere them together. Like I said, if you want to put the flaps on the inside, you totally can. There's less that gets in the way if you do it this way. But you do have to kind of manipulate the paper just a little bit because that's not how they're meant to function. So I'm just going to add my adhesive to make it. And I'll have you know, I've got the page all ready for next week, and we're going to do a double page spread. And it will also be a Christmas layout. So I'm going to do next week, the one I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in with one collection, and there's photographs of the other one because I did it in a different collection. Okay, so I am just holding my paper down and folding them around the outside, just like that. So now we're going to take the adhesive off. So because it's just slightly different spot, you just need to adapt it just a little bit. Woo. And you can tell it's dry because everything is sticking to me today. So I'm just pushing it down with my finger first. Okay, so now you can see they're on the back side, but this is what we're going to add to the layout, right? So it's totally fine. So I'm just making sure they go around the outside. Pull off my backing. Oh my goodness. This one's being tricky. There we go. Okay, so same thing. I'm just using my finger first because I've already made it go around. Okay, so we've got 2, and then here is our last one. Just pulling. And you probably wouldn't have to do this with the red tape. You could probably just use regular adhesive if you wanted. I just wanted to make sure that they weren't going to pop open. See, you could see how it's all just sticking to me today. This week we've been in like that slow moving snowstorm that everybody's had. So, I said the other day to somebody, I feel like I'm in a live snow globe. Okay, so here's where our title's going to go. So now I'm going to add my 2 pieces together. My goodness, this one was crooked. I must have had, I think when I was designing, before I decided to add the second mats, I hand cut them, but that one is awful. We're going to fix that. So all the photographs are 3x4s. So when I print them, well, that's a little bit better. When I print them, I print 2 of them together on one 4x6. So I can show you. So for example, I obviously only needed 3 photographs for my layout. So this is my favorite photo. So I actually put it together twice on a 4x6. And so now I have 2 of them. I'll use it on a different project. Normally I would pick like 4 obviously different photographs when I was printing, but I just wanted to show you. So I do use the Project Life app, and there's videos on my YouTube channel about how I use it. And maybe in the new year I'll come back and do another tutorial. I love it. As an easy way, I print a lot of photos with my Epson PictureMate, and so it seamlessly prints from the app. So, and you can put like any groupings that you could make onto a 4x6. So you can do 2x2s or 3x4s, or like a 4x4 and 2x2s. All those fun combinations. But like I said, I do have videos on my YouTube channel. So I'm just going to add photo mats for today. And like I said, maybe what I should do is try and get her to go into those different same spots and take photos of her. You know, like how you recreate like the family photographs from when kids were small. We actually just did that this summer at the lake. On the dock, there was a photograph of like my kids and their cousins when they were small, and they recreated it on the same dock with in their 20s. Well, not all of them are in their 20s, but the babies were babies, like the first year and a half, and they're both 18. So okay, so it's starting to come together now. You can see. So I'm just going to roughly put these. Okay, so here's what I need to know my spacing, right, for my ornaments. So I want all my photos See, they're bigger than the pocket, but you can't tell that the pocket is shorter than them because it's all adhered to your page. So I'm going to attach my photo mat to my pocket. So I'm adding my adhesive here, and I want them all to be the same. So I'm just going to see what I did here, but I think it is 1/2 inch. That's what I thought. So I can put my pocket down. Let's just move some of my stuff out of my way so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So I have my T-square, and I can place my pocket under there, and I'm lining up this edge with the 1/4 inch mark, and then I can just add my photo mats on just like that. So, and if you want them all to be exactly the same, you could just do it like this and layer them one on top of each other. I'm better to measure with my ruler than that. So same thing, I'll just line the edge up at 1/2 inch. I think I said 1/4 inch, but it's actually 1/2 inch. Oh, this one was going to be upside down. And then I'm just centering them this way. Right? So 1/2 inch. And centering them like that. So now I have 3 that are the same. Okay. So bring back in my page. I have my 3 pockets. Now I'm just going to kind of dry fit them in where I want them to be, so then I can move them out of the way and draw the lines for my ornaments. You can, if you want to, you can just kind of guess. But I knew, right, I want one up here. And I did them just kind of like right along. The tag sits right on the edge of the sticker. So we'll put the tags inside. We haven't added our ribbon in yet, but that's okay. Because it does, you can see here it sticks out just a little bit more, right? So I want that to sit right there. And then I think that is about 1/2 inch from the top. Right? So I did that on the top and the bottom, and then this one sits in the middle. And here's my tag. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to use my ruler. And I'm just going to kind of put it where it should be. So right about there. So I can see that it's almost like right on the seam there. Okay, and then here is my bottom one, and then this one is just going to sit here in the middle. Okay, just like that. So now that's how I then decided where to put my ornament. I knew I wanted this one about here. So I wanted some of the blue to show. So we're going to put that one there. I'm going to add some foam tape behind it. So this one has foam tape, and then the bottom one. And this one I know overlaps. So I only want foam tape on this part that's not going to overlap my photograph. So if you needed it to, like if you had stuff in your photograph all the way over, then you could move this one depending on your photograph, right? So I just want 3D foam tape on this part of that ornament. So just going to cut myself a strip. That's about how much it'll overlap. If I need to add more or less, I can. Okay, so I want this one here. This one is going to be, I wanted it so that I could still see a little bit of the red there. So that's about where that one's going. This pocket's going to go actually go on top. And then this one, we're going to put right here. Okay, so just kind of like that. So you can adhere them and then draw your lines, but I wanted to actually draw my lines and then adhere them. So see, these crazy red backings are everywhere. So I'm going to use the Spectrum Noir, the metallic paint markers. You know, you guys, I love them. So I know this one is just got a little bit, and I keep one ruler that like I let get messy. So it's got like glue on it and all sorts of yucca. And so I don't worry if I run my metallic marker across it, right? Sorry, this little inside got stuck there and it was bugging me. So this one, obviously I need to go all the way to the top, but so I want to get this one. I'm going to do the line for the top one first. So just like that. And then I know this one is going here. So I can actually just kind of mark where I want to start before I move my ornament out of the way. And I'm just making sure my ruler is kind of lined up top to bottom. And then my last one. Okay, and I know it needs to start about here. It dries super quickly, so you don't need to worry too much about putting, like I wouldn't like rub my hand across it right away, but okay, so here we go. Now we're in the final stretch. So this one is flat, so I'm actually going to add this one down right now. And then I'm going to add my pockets. So I'm just lining it back up with my string there. Oh, I think we need to move that up. There we go. Then I can add this one. And like I said, I could tuck something underneath there because I did not add 3D foam tape. So this one, I noticed I added foam tape over here. So I'm actually going to leave that on until I slide the photograph underneath. So this one can just go here. And so this part's all stuck down, but I could still touch this part and slide something underneath. So now I can add my pockets. So let's move some stuff out of my way that I don't need right this second. Okay. So this one is going first. And like I said, it's 1/2 inch from the very bottom. So I'm a big ruler person. You don't have to be a ruler person. So I'm going to make sure to add adhesive over here to my photo mat and then all the way across. And now I can just tuck it right into the spot where I want it. I have to add my little ribbon on there. So I'm actually going to flip this upside down to make it easier for me. Because you have to remember I added a little bit of adhesive onto the Versamat. Stacy, they are one of my favorites. They've been around for a few years now, but I love them. And I think that lots of time too, like I showed in the beginning how to actually use it, I don't think people actually realized what you could do with them when they first came. Like even just the plain ornament piece is pretty. There, you could do lots of things with it, right? You could just cut the ornament out and you could add a snowflake onto it, for example, right? Like there's so many things you could actually do with it. Like you could take this cutout of a piece of cardstock, right? And you could add a glittery snowflake onto it and it's really pretty. Like I said, I've used it quite a few times over the years and I love it. And then I think that people didn't understand that they could do some fun stuff with it. Very versatile. And like I said, it's been around for a while. Okay, so same thing. I'm just making sure I've got it going in the right direction because I do remember I'm upside down. So this one is just going right there. Awesome. Okay, so now all I have to do is tuck this one in the middle. And then we can add our title. So this one is over top of this ornament. So I'm just spacing my mats between the two. Okay, so these are also another one of my favorites. You guys have seen me use them lots. And I'm going to add them to my tags. So there are 6 in the package. They're little striped ribbon bows. You don't have to cut them or anything. So they do have a little foam dot on the back. And you can see, obviously, our little tag here has a circle in it. So all I did was grabbed a scrap piece of cardstock and adhered it to the back. So my garbage is literally right beside me. So this is exactly what I did. If you want it to be the same color, you could totally do it with the mink. But this is exactly what I did. I just added, you have to decide which way you want your tags to be. And I'm just going to add this onto the back. Like that. And then I took my bow and added it to the piece of cardstock just like that. So then it just slides right in. You could obviously use twine. You can use whatever you want. But like I said, these are one of my favorites. And I think they're perfect for Christmas. So then I'll just do it again. I just added a little adhesive to the back. I added way more than I should have. So we don't want it to stick. And then they're also really cute on the ornaments, just going to say, if you didn't want to use them on your tags and you wanted to use them on your ornaments, they look really cute on the ornaments. So same thing, just a scrap piece, and then the ribbon. Okay, so like I said, you could use smaller photos on there. That goes in the garbage again. If you wanted to add photos, just make sure that you realize that part of it is poking out, right? So if you want a photo, don't make it bigger than this space, unless you want it to be seen. So you can see here too, I'll show you on one. I'll do one tag because you don't need to see me do it more than once. But the writing, where I'm going to journal, I wanted it in the middle of the tag, in the part that's going to be inside the pocket. So you just have to remember that part of your tag does stick out, so you wouldn't want to do your journaling lines all the way over. So on this, you could tell this is my one for today because I'm using the light side. So I'll just grab another Versamat and my pen. And I love the lip pens for doing the journaling lines and then using like a different color to journal. So I did use the red lip pen, and I'm just going to get my ruler. And I did leave quite a bit of space at the top and the bottom just because I really liked it just being centered. Sorry, my ruler is... Oh, that's super interesting. I didn't notice that. So the T-square ruler has a flat edge, and the other ruler, the old ruler, has like a beveled edge on it. I didn't notice that before. So I can use the mat to line up my ruler. And this is obviously easier to do when you don't have the bow on there already. And it seems very high today for some reason. So I'm just following. Obviously, you might want to do this before you put the ribbon on, because then you could actually hold your ruler all the way across instead of the way I'm doing it now. But I wanted to make sure to show you putting the ribbon on, and you guys have seen me do this lots of times. So like I said, I'm just going to do one. And I can just watch the lines on my ruler in reference to the tag, or the lines on my Versamat. So there we go. Okay, so this is for my finished one. So we can put that one up here. And this one can go into this one. Okay, so I did put a little bit of adhesive right on the back so it would stick down, so it wouldn't move while I was trying to draw the line. So I'm just going to take my rub and erase and really quickly just take the adhesive off the back so my tag doesn't get stuck once it's in there. And we're in the home stretch. So see, now you can't see the lines because I made sure that they were far enough over. Okay, so I just have my title and my snowflakes to add. So like I said, this is pine. And this will be cut with the Design Space file. And I just centered it. Ish. Okay, and then this one, I did use the Cascading Dots embossing folder on, and I forgot to do that on this piece before I started. But I will show you exactly what I did. So I ran it through once with all the cascading dots at the top, and then I flipped it around and I ran it through again so that I had nice dots on both ends. I'll just add this one plain though. Because you guys don't need to watch me pull out my machine. Okay, so then I have my snowflakes that are cut out of the glitter paper. I have a big one here in the sapphire and a little one there in white. And then I added some of them in layers because all your snowflakes look a little bit different. So I have this one down here, and then I put a scarlet one on top, and then I have a scarlet one tucked underneath here. And I have a big white one for up here. And then I put a scarlet one on top. And then a little white one. So I'll do that really quickly. But I'm going to put down my title first. So like I said, I said we would use it again if we used it last week. So I'm trying to carry over some stuff from one week to the next. Not everything, obviously. But so I did use my adhesive sheets because I find it very handy with the outline of this thin cut. And like I said, I do keep them handy so that I can cut out my other parts. It also makes it good so you don't lose the inside piece before you go and stick everything together. Because obviously this has been sitting in my office for a little bit. So I'm just going to add the outline on top of the Christmas. So there is obviously the little tiny Mary that I used last week. And if you want to add that, you can. I just thought I would leave it at Christmas, and I was thinking I will just add the year onto underneath. So also, the nice part is with the adhesive sheet on the back of the bottom layer too, it gives it nice stability to be able to work with because it is quite fine. Okay. So now I just need my centers. So that is the A here. You can also save these pieces if you wanted to do, for example, like a candy cane pattern. So if you left this red and you have this black and then you had a second set that was white, you can alternate like the inside pieces here. So you could do like every other letter white and it would have like that candy cane appearance. That would be fun. It would also kind of mimic, right, the snowflakes on this layout that are the scarlet and the white. Okay, so now I just need to get the adhesive sheet off my back here. And I'm just going to center it. Okay, we're in the home stretch. And also I wanted to just point out the reason that I did the snowflakes, you could totally move them around if you wanted, but you could see here that I've created like a visual triangle with the snowflakes. So just so that your eye kind of gets drawn into the photographs in the middle instead of the other stuff. And so I did use liquid glass to adhere my snowflakes because it's my favorite. So I just kind of picked some of the spots. And then I just kind of held them down for a few seconds. You can also weight them. Lots of times I'll just come and then like throw my block on top for a few seconds. It does not take long for it to adhere itself down. So then I would just move this over. And then like I said, so I did this like stacked and I just kind of moved them so they weren't right on top of each other. So I'll add some in the middle and add it down first. I'm just going to get this second verse amount out from underneath there. And then my next one. You could also do it just with normal cardstock. Okay, and then my one right in the middle. And again, I'll just put my block down on it for a few seconds just to add a little bit of weight on it. Just moving a few things out of my way while I put on the final. So I'm going to do this one on the bottom first. So I don't know if you could see the difference on camera, but the embossing folder just kind of added, I thought, a really nice little extra texture on there versus the just mink cardstock. You could also do pattern paper in that spot instead. So this one is just a single one, and then this one has 2 layers. Just like that. Okay, we are coming to the end. Okay, so I'm going to move this from there to there. So I'll just show you again some of the details. So like I said, there's a PDF sheet if you want it. If you just comment Mary, I'll come back. I'm going to, as soon as I turn this off, I'll add the link in. Or if you missed it, it will be in the description up top after. And you just click on it and you can download it. The PDF has a QR code that goes to my YouTube channel if you wanted to watch the replay of this. and the QR code down at the bottom will take you to the design space file that'll cut out like the background pieces. Nothing obviously that the thin cut out. But you could also, there's lots of different ways you could use this that doesn't necessarily have to be Christmas. You could totally swap these out for stars, all sorts of different shapes depending on what you might be scrapbooking. So that is Festive Fridays number 3. So let me just go back here again. That's not where I wanted to go. So thanks guys so much for joining me. And like I said, if you want the sheet, just simply comment, Mary, I'm coming back right now to start adding them in. You are very welcome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It's been a super fun series for me at Christmas time to do. Got a little bit off road when some of the Christmas stuff started going out of stock, but it just made me be more creative. So I hope you guys all have a great Friday, and we'll talk to you later. Bye guys, and I'll see you next week for a 2-page spread.